Hold up, let me get my piano back. Conspiracy. Don't believe it easy. Conspiracy. Check receipts, not feelings. Conspiracy, eyes open in the city.
There is not a year where Jay-Z was indisputably the hottest or the best rapper in the game. Jay-Z came in the game in 1996. I think we can all agree that's Tupac's year. 1997, Biggie died. In 1998, which was kind of his breakout year, DMX had 2 number 1 albums in that year. 1999, DMX again, who outsold Jay-Z by a big margin. 2000, Nelly and Eminem both went down. Now, 2001 would have been the best argument, but then Ludacris came in the game with hits like Area Code, Smooth Bitch, Roll Out. 2002, here go Eminem again, dropping the Eminem Show, another diamond album. As well as Nelly dropping another album that sold like 7 million. Jay-Z who? 2003 was obviously 50 Cent's year. He retired, came back in 2006. At that point, T.I. was on top of the game. 2007 undoubtedly goes to Kanye graduation year. Can't be serious. And 2008 to like 2011 clearly goes to Lil Wayne. So at what point was...
Word up, today's youth is crazy angry and they're learning faster. And America is scared to death of that shit. They're gonna blow us up before they let us come into power. You can believe that all that's gonna burn. We in the last times and days right now. The Illuminati's in effect. See, the Illuminati ain't nothing but like it's gonna be a second Great Depression out here in America. Except this time, corporate America's prepared themselves for it. Meaning when it hits, their money is gonna be safe. As far as the rest of us that don't own our own businesses and things of that nature, so big, we're gonna be killing each other in the streets, man. Mad Max, Beyond Terror Dome and all that, it's gonna be on, man. And they're gonna have to blow us up.
There's a group that was formed like in the 1700s, something like that, 1600s. This dude named Adam Weishaupt. He started this group of people, like powerful, rich people that basically could shape popular opinion and the way, the world is gonna move forward. The word means like the illuminated ones. Light is like information. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you see the light now. I found out the origin of the information that they were teaching. It basically comes from this group called the Essenes in Egypt. These are like the original black culture. They're like the scholars, doctors, scientists, esoteric thinkers, and they just knew how to do stuff. Like, for example, look at the pyramids. Nobody understands how the pyramids were built. These are the people that had that knowledge. The Eye of Horus, the pyramid, those are artifacts and things from black culture. They represent certain things of our people from ancient black history of Egypt. You know what I mean? Ancient Egypt. You got these group of people, they break into the tombs, they steal the riches like the gold and the mummies, and they rape and pillage our culture. Here they got you thinking your own people and your own artifacts and your own symbolism is evil.
I would watch for Barron because here's the thing. There's also another book called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Ingersoll Lockwood wrote this book too in the late 1800s, depicting this character.
When they picked those same names.
Yes.
Barron Trump.
Barron Trump. That is a book. Yes. Ingersoll Lockwood wrote both these books. Right?
In the 1800s.
Yes. I believe it was like 1893, 1896, something like that.
Then there has to be time travelers.
Well, here's the thing. In the book, Barron Trump is a time traveler. No bullshit. All this is in the book, you guys. And guess what? So he time travels, right? He has a mentor named Don. This is in the book. So, here's the theory. That Trump actually has some type of time travel technology only because Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, worked for the FBI. Now, when Nikola Tesla died, they sent him in because he's a scientist, he's a physicist, engineer, smart guy. So they're like, hey, go in to Nikola Tesla's, room and decipher all his works and whatnot. Because, Nikola Tesla discovered free energy, and a multitude of things, right? So Donald Trump's uncle goes in there and says, we didn't find anything. A bunch of BS. You don't think that Nikola Tesla, who had discovered free energy and manipulated electromagnetism, which had that you can, in theory, bend time, light, and space, this man's works was
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes. Here's a prime example of one of that. There's this woman on TikTok who was going crazy because she swore the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia logo. And to the point that even Fruit of the Loom themselves put a timeline of all their logos and it never had a cornucopia. And this woman went hard. Her therapist told her, yo, you need to chill out. You need to just drop this. So she went through all of her old clothing, and lo and behold, she found a shirt with the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia logo on it. That shows me, like, yo, I think the Mandela effect is an operation that's running around right now to see how much of history can be altered right in front of our eyes without us noticing. And then they gaslight the public and be like, nope, this never happened.
Damn, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, bro. People are thinking about it very little. Like, oh, it's the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears or Jiffy or Jif's peanut butter. No, it's much larger than that, guys. They're using this to see, oh, if we can get people to forget certain primary things about their childhood.
The real truth, you better wake up and find out, has been around you all of your life. You just didn't see it. Example, Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John Kennedy was elected to Congress 1946. Abe Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John Kennedy was elected president 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy both contain 7 letters. Both presidents were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both of the president's wives lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday in the head. President Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Miss Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, in 1939. Both assassins were known by 3 names: John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. Both names are comprised of 15 letters. President Lincoln was shot in a theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car named Lincoln, made by Ford. John Wilkes Booth ran to a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before they could go to trial. And a week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Maryland.
There's a theory that public schools aren't just taking pictures of students, they're feeding a much bigger system that nobody's talking about. Every single year, schools bring in these random third-party companies to take high-definition photos of millions of kids. And when you really stop to think about it, it's kind of strange. Most parents don't question it. We sign a form, send our kid in a clean shirt, and never think twice. But if you actually look into who owns some of these companies, that's where people online start freaking out. Because when you follow the money, you don't end up at a small photography studio, you end up at a massive data firm, corporations with investments in facial recognition, AI training, and digital identity systems. And suddenly parents online are like, why does a data company want a perfectly lit, perfectly framed, high-resolution photo of my 7-year-old? Here's where the theory gets unsettling. These companies don't just take the photo, they store it, they process it, some even claim legal ownership of every image they capture. And when parents ask them to delete it, a few have literally said no, because that picture is now part of their system. So people are asking, is this really about school pictures, or are schools quietly helping build the next generation of facial data sets starting with our children? I'm not saying it's true, but with how fast digital surveillance is growing...
I'm the most feared man in Hollywood. They don't like me in Hollywood. Why do they not like you? I don't wear dresses. I don't do that gay stuff on TV. They had to get some other black person to do that stuff. I'm talking, that's gunning. But they all confess they love the Lord. But you cannot compromise yourself if you love the Lord. So I play tough guys, but young kids want to be soldiers. Young kids don't want to follow a guy to wear a dress. You know what I'm talking about.
You know the one thing about flat Earth that does trip me out? Google images of satellites. Just like type in satellite. Just all.
There's no real pictures?
Not a single one is not. This is the one thing that tripped me out, I'm not gonna lie. They're all just like renders.
Why?
I don't know.
Why you think?
This is the one, I'm gonna say, this is the one thing that trips me out. I've never seen a satellite that was real. I'm just saying, I'm not a flat earther, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is very strange now that you bring that up. Why would they want to sell us on Earth being round?
That's not the only thing they're selling you on. They're selling you on space as well. That's why you thinking like that, because you thinking outer space and all those other planets and stuff.
Are real?
Like that. Yeah. Huh?
You don't think they're real? You don't think sun's real?
No. Sun is real. The sun and the moon is real.
Okay.
But outer space is not.
Well, then what is it? What are we
It's
doing?
water over the firmament. Is water.
Over the firmament, he's talking.
We're in the ocean right now?
We under the firmament, under the dome, and there's water over the firmament. Says it in the Bible. Planets are wandering stars that you think about.
So you think all that, like them going to Mars stuff is all...
How they going to the Mars? Why they don't put the same rover on the moon so we can watch the Earth spin right now? How they gonna go to Mars?
They're talking about building a society on Mars, right?
Yeah. Why they doing that? Why they ain't got the same thing on the moon right now though?
The whole thing is like we never went back to the moon, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I know.
Why people care if people believe in the Earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah.
It does?
With the dome, the firmament, and everything. Why do people get mad at people if they just describe the Earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yeah.
You ever been down the Paramount rabbit hole? Yeah, watch these 22 stars go and hover over the waters and then congregate over the Paramount. Para means what? Means breath. Breath means what? Well, breath means spirit, and it hovered over the waters in Genesis. So we have, count them, 22 stars, Paramount, paranormal mountain. What could be the paranormal mountain? Well, I'll tell you what, it's Mount Hermon. What's crazy is, in the book of Enoch, 200 angels fell on Mount Hermon and congregated, and there was 22 leaders that were named. Enoch chapter 6, and you can pause and read, but 200 angels, 22 of those were named, and these are all the angels that fell down and congregated at Mount Hermon to talk about how they were going to basically take over the world with unrighteousness. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'll give you the opportunity to pause and read all of this, because in Enoch chapter 6 through 10, there's some interesting things that I personally feel like speak to what's going on right now. And when it comes to stars, Revelation 9 talks about a star fell from heaven and he was given the key to the bottomless pit. And Revelation 9:11 talks about Apollyon. Mount Hermon means the mountain of the chief. What chief? Could it be that chief star that looked like lightning falling from heaven? Hey, Yeshua saw it. It's so funny that stars, falling stars, are referred to as angels and angels referred to as stars. And you got this Paramount with 22 of these named stars, and the name Hermon meaning devoted to destruction. And in German, it means soldier. So this is the mountain of the chief, where 22 soldiers met to talk about destruction. And it's so weird that celebrities are called stars. And there's the Hollywood Walk of Fame with all of these stars that are named. I'm wondering if these fallen angels have inhabited bodies and taken over to bring more destruction to the earth. Because it seems that Hollywood and the music industry, they all promote unrighteousness and ungodliness, and it's like they're trying to spread it across the world. And if this Paramount is paying homage to this situation that happened in the book of Enoch, well, then that would have to mean that they know exactly what they are doing, and they're doing it on purpose. This is just the tip of the iceberg, because every 22 of these leader angels that are named, their names have meanings. They lead the 200 fallen angels that bring unrighteousness to the world. All the evil, the freaking magic, and all this crazy stuff that's going on. Superb owl, rituals, and all this creepy Masonic ritual. Oh, did you know that Mount Hermon is actually on the 33-degree north longitude? 33. Oh, and 1/3 of the angels fell with Lucifer, and 1/3 out of 100% just so happens to be 33.33%. This is just to get you started. Start going down this rabbit hole. Find out for yourself. Look, they know what they're doing. They're paying homage to these fallen angels because, hey, they might just be the fallen angels. So next time you see a
The True Name of God in TV Shows Part 3. In this one, they show you how they cover up his true name.
Just finding this out now? No one must know. Exodus.
On that document he just shredded was the Father's name, which was replaced with Lord in all caps in all the newer Bibles. It originally said his name, Yahuwah, which is represented by 4 Hebrew letters, Yod, Hey, Ua, Hey. Yahuwah. If you click on Lord in the Hebrew concordance, it'll take you to H3068, which is his name Yahuwah, which they removed 6,000 times from the Old Covenant alone. This is why we say hallelujah in church. It literally means praise Yahuwah or praise Yah. The Father's name is not Jehovah. In the Hebrew concordance for Hova, H1943, it means ruin and destruction. So this can't be his name if we're saying that the Father is ruin and destruction. And they also tell us that the Savior's name, Jesus, comes from Jehovah is salvation, Jesus, which is false because we know that this name is false. The Savior's true name is Yahusha, which means Yahuwah is our salvation. If you click on Jesus in the concordance, it'll take you to H3091. Yahusha, Yod, He, Ua, Shin, Ayin. He came in the Father's name. Yahuwah is the Father's name. The Son's name is Yahusha. They both have Yahu. Messiah said in John 5:43, I have come in my Father's name, and you have not received me. But if someone else comes in his own name, you will receive him. Who came in his own name? The false name, JC. If you click on Jesus in the concordance, it'll take you to root word etymology of Yahusha. It tells us it's a combination of the Father's name, Yahuwah, H3068, and the Hebrew word Yasha. So the Father's name, Yahuwah, and the Hebrew word Yasha, H3467, Yahusha, which means Yahuwah is salvation. Isaiah 43:11, I am Yahuwah, besides me there is no Savior. Letter J in the Hebrew never existed. The J is literally only 500 years old. The Father's name is also literally in our DNA. There are these sulfuric bridges that hold our DNA acids together. And the sequence is 10, 5, 6, 5 repeating. If you substitute Yod, He, Ua, He in the Hebrew Aleph Beit for numbers, you get 10, 5, 6, 5. Yahuwah. Yod, He, Ua, He. 10, 5, 6, 5. Don't believe me? Go fact check it. If you guys want a part 3 on this series, don't forget to like, follow, let me know in the comments if you want a part 3, and I'll see you guys in the next.
There's no satellites out there either, nigga. There's no satellites.
They have so many compartments that break off when you go. So how is the shit the same when it lands? Yeah. Same shit takes off.
Or even the satellite.
No, there's no satellites. They are hanging satellites in the firmament. This is our GPS system. They scrolling shit into the firmament, and that's the permanent GPS system. Call it space. But the space between Earth and God is called the firmament. And until he opens that up, it's gonna be continued. Firmament. We're his pets. Imagine having hamsters and they wild a motherfucker. If you let them out, they eat your dog and your cats. You gotta have a cap on it, don't you? That's called the firmament. It's in the Bible. Nothing will get.
Where's the Garden of Eden?
Well, when you read the stories, right, the thing that strikes you is that it's so specific. Like, it says things in talking about the Garden of Eden that, wait a minute, if I can't find what you're talking about, this isn't even real. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like where the Garden of Eden was, there's, I think, 4 rivers that come from it. And then it names 2 of them. like, I don't want to be specific because at least he's going to bring it up, but it's like the Nile and the Euphrates, right?
Right.
So you know two of them, and it's saying, you know, where the four meet, this is where it is. And yeah, my whole life I was like, this is really weird, because at one period of time we're thinking no flood happens. There's so many things that have lined up from these great religious books to where we can see that no, something happened here. Like,
something happened, and these are stories of people telling stories that have been told to them for about 1,000 years.
but this is why.
Why do you think we exist?
We believe that this is
Matrix. This Matrix bullshit my wife believes. Why you saying the same shit this nigga said?
and well done. It's the reason that everything fits together. Like, it would be enough if there was.
Do you believe in other lives? You lived other lives?
I know that the whatever is in our body, whatever that weighs, I know that when it leaves here, it still weighs that in the universe. So it's somewhere.
It came to you from somebody.
Yes.
Wow, right? It came to you from somebody. When it leaves you, it's going to go someone else.
Yeah. It's the reason that when you're young, there's a lot of things that you learn that nobody taught you at all. You just...
This whole world is just one big school.
Right.
One big school. And when we die, we're not going to know as much as we died, but even as much as we lived. You know, we don't know anything. Only thing we know is what they told us in those books.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or whatever it is.
That's how you know that there's truth in the history, though, because we're now in a place now in history where we're able to know more about the universe than ever. Like, we've been to places now. You know what I mean? We've been to all these planets, and we've had these experiences unlike anybody else in history. But the problem is that whatever they said about the planets 6,000 years ago,
bullshit.
No, it was all true, and we are just now finding out. So the question is, how the fuck did they know?
Oh, shit.
Why did they say Mars was the red planet before they got there and explained to us that that's what it was like and what the environment was? How did they know about the rings on that planet, and why were they correct about it? And if they're that correct, what were... I'm saying...
Like I said, who are we? Who's our ancestors? When it first started, how did my ancestor look? My millions ancestor. Wow, I can't even say a million ain't nothing. A million years ain't shit compared to time. Trillion, who's my trillion? Ooh, life is a bitch, huh?
Right.
There's no time. We made time, but it's really eternity.
That's what you were saying when you said the 365 days. So before somebody called it that, then how old were you? Like, how were you measuring your
before Julius Caesar said, hey, motherfucker, this is going to be 1 year because I can't take this shit. So it's no such thing as time. It's eternity, and we turned it into time.
Yeah. I thought when I was real young, I thought if you was a great, great man, you generally died around 25 or 26. So I had planned my life according to that. And I got into this thing about 6 or 7 years old where I was like, yeah, every 7 years, that's almost like a new you. And so I've kept that model going my entire life. So, I've lived 7 whole existences that were separate from the one before it, taking what it takes from it. But, yeah.
That's amazing right there, you know? You could just fuck my whole head up right there with all that shit, man.
I'm telling y'all, they always hide the truth in plain sight.
Sure is. Make a deal with me, kid. You can have the car and everything that goes along with it.
thinks that's a Freemason sign ring. And, wait a minute, that's obviously...
This is what the Anunnaki said. This is how you know that these are not made up things from people's imagination, because everything is too factual. Like this necklace, right?
Right.
People online were like, yeah, is that Buddhist or that's this or that? It's none of that. Like I just try to find the answers to things. So
Is that a ship wheel?
I designed this because this is that thing that you see that all the Anunnaki guys that have that look like a wristwatch, and they always have it, and you're always trying to see what that is.
Yeah, what is that?
It is a time, and it's a compass. It's a timekeeping compass.
That's what that is?
Yeah. So that's what made the carrier of great importance, because he was able to do things that were magical in nature, like go somewhere and get right back. Like, you know what I mean?
So, yeah,
like
that thing on the wrist was a compass?
A timekeeping
compass.
Yeah. Right. So you had to believe in things that didn't exist at some point, like magnetics and distance and probabilities and
right.
That's how, like, if you were to read like thousands of books about people that knew a bunch of shit, like you start finding out that it's not really about knowing anything. It's about where to go to get the information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when we look at all the ruins all around the world, like we're not seeing ruins of colleges and universities and all of that. We're seeing temples and synagogues and churches, but people don't understand that that's where that information was coming from for that period of time. When we went to these temples, they weren't in there singing and reading from a book. They were in there being taught things that they were able to go put into practice. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they were being taught our agriculture. You know what I mean? Like they were being taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had some very bizarre knowledge too. They had a detailed knowledge of cosmology. They had a really detailed knowledge of our solar system.
100% of the writings across the world, whoever said anything about space or the universe or what was out there, why were all of them correct, Joe? It's not even possible. Like, how did they know that Mars was the red planet, and why was it a worldwide fact?
Right.
Planetarily, that Saturn had rings, like, based upon what information?
Adam simply translates to man, but after Cain kills Abel, Eve would give birth to another child named Seth, which means appointed. But then Seth has a child, and he named him Enosh, which means mortal. Of course, Enosh has a child, and he named him Kenan. Kenan actually translates to sorrow, but then Kenan fathers Mahalalel, which means the blessed God, who then has a child named Jared. His name means to descend or to come down. But one day, Jared has a child named Enoch, which conveniently means teaching. Then Enoch has a child named Methuselah. His name, interestingly, means his death shall send. But then Methuselah has a boy. His name is Lamech, which means the despairing, before Lamech finally begets Noah, whose name means rest and comfort. See, if we put all of these names together, ultimately what we get is a prophecy. This is what it says: man appointed, mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down, teaching his death.
That it's like you are deleting posts from your Instagram to keep your number at 666. Now,
That's true.
I noticed this a few days ago but I didn't pay any mind. And now I see it's still there this morning, yet you've been posting quite a bit. So, before we get to the jokes, do we need to have a much more serious intervention about devil worshiping?
Well, before we get to the jokes, thank you for that plug. Listen, at AKA DMIKS, yeah, however my Instagram is ran, it's ran. I mean, truly, I gotta let you know that. Listen, I do a lot of things. One of the things I do here, I will tell y'all all this. I will tell y'all all this. No,
that was a horrible. Tell you don't have
a
PR team.
No. I'll tell y'all all this. If I don't say it on Everyday Struggle, I don't say it on my YouTube channel especially, or you don't hear me say it on Twitch. While you may assume everything is DJ Academics, there are people beside me, behind me, and who help out with other things. I'm not hitting every button, so think what you may. I don't really care.
Well, I don't have to think anything because I get to talk to you every morning. So are you instructing your employees to delete posts to keep your number at 666?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay, so you're lying.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I had a CIA agent on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and it was interesting. I said to him, what keeps you up at night? What have you learned through your past 20 years that genuinely keeps you up at night where you're like, I wish I never knew that, and I'm paralyzed with fear because of this secret that the American public doesn't know? He was like, there's a couple
That's a great question.
He said, the thing that I can share with you, this isn't the number one thing, but this is up there. He goes, the thing that I can share with you is our power grid. We can be put back to the Stone Age, like pre-colonial times, within 5 minutes if our enemy gets at our power grid. He said our power grids are the most vulnerable power grids of any first world nation. People were able to hack them in a second, and you would have upwards of 100 million people in this country alone within 6 months. He was like, because I'm talking about no power, no water supply, nothing. For 6 months, we would not be able to get it up for at least 6 months. He goes, now we're working retroactively to upgrade these things.
Should we be saying this?
Well, he said, it's pretty public knowledge to the powers that be. But he said that is a thing that absolutely we are in jeopardy of. He was like, it's not no one's going to us. No one's going to invade mainland USA. He goes, even like it might happen again, but it's not gonna debilitate you. He's like, we stop this shit all the time. We're really, weapons and all that. We're so far ahead of every other country. It's not even close.
Someone's gonna come flip a light switch and we're fucked.
He said, but that's how they'll get you. There's no reason to have these weapons like this anymore because they can hit our power grid and then we're all and that's what we're vulnerable at, where other countries aren't. He said other countries have taken money and instead of building and tanks, they're upgrading their tech systems that they're impenetrable. So he was like, so that's the thing that keeps me up.
This is why exposing the truth is scary.
People who expose the truth.
One of the most amazing things that I had ever seen at the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planets in the Gulf of Mexico. I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut. It was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of mussels. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. And we went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off, and as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline. It was insane.
What's the craziest thing you've concocted? Your imagination or your schizophrenia?
Man. The craziest thing it's concocted?
I mean, you've already mentioned a few that are...
Probably that I'm God.
Mm.
Yeah, that's probably the craziest one. But apparently, God and the devil are the same incarnation, just at different lifetimes, depending on how much the people, the people are actually the psychics. This is the main collective psychic group. They control who is who, what numbers you get issued, what names you'll get issued, stuff like that. And they're like, you're God, dude. You're obviously God. Every time I go to the beach, when I look at nature, if I'm walking on the street, if I look at nature, the message is very clear. Throw them in the ocean. Just throw them in the ocean. And then when I go to the ocean, they're like, you're God. You have to do these things. And you'll have magic, and you'll get food, and you'll have everything you want. But you're going to have to be homeless because you're also the devil. I'm not really worried about them killing me.
So when you're sharing these stories about the Illuminati and all these other crazy things,
yeah,
do you understand that they're kind of crazy, or do you believe them?
I don't know. I like to think that it's just crazy shit, that it's just schizophrenia. There's nothing I can really do about it. But then sometimes something will happen, like somebody will just pop up and say one word at just the right time that means that it's all real. And that what I'm hearing, I'll be standing next to somebody and I'll hear a voice on the wind of this woman I talked to from another dimension. It's like my soulmate, but we live on different worlds. So we have to keep dying and trying to come back on the same world just so we can be together. And I will hear her on the wind, especially when I'm like eating or smoking weed, because in this universe, she's weed basically. And when I eat it, I'm eating her. When I smoke it, I'm burning her. So it's always bad. But the high is like my favorite high. I prefer weed over...
Not many people know this, but in the 1990s, there was a conspiracy theorist with a public access show where he ranted about crazy crackpot theories every single day, and nobody took him seriously. But then after he died, it turned out he was right about everything. In the late 80s and throughout the 1990s, there was a man named Clay Tiffany who had a public access TV show called Dirge of the Charlatans, where he would sit for hours on end and just rant and ramble about all kinds of conspiracy theories about elite government corruption within the city. He would talk about judges laundering money through nonprofits and NYPD officers falsifying crimes to throw people in jail, and members of the NYPD acting as roving gangs and enforcers for the mob. But then something happened to Clay Tiffany. In March of 1997, he was pulled over by an NYPD officer named Nick Tartaglione, who said that he had seen Clay Tiffany's show and wanted him to stop talking about the NYPD, and that he was connected to the mob, and if he didn't shut up, he would have him taken care of. Or at least this is what Tiffany claimed the following day on his show, where he talked about the incident. And as Clay Tiffany claims, the next day after this broadcast, Nick Tartaglione showed up at his house, threw him against his police cruiser, arrested him, and brought him in on some made-up disturbing the peace charge. But Clay Tiffany was not going to be bullied, and he would not give up. So the next several years on his show, he did a full investigation of Nick Tartaglione, sending in a bunch of requests with the Freedom of Information Act to the government to get documents about him. And he dug up a ton of dirt, like multiple police brutality reports, a bunch of excessive force complaints, and unexplained departures from dozens of his previous police jobs. And in response, Clay Tiffany claims that he was attacked and brutalized by Nick Tartaglione and his cop buddies multiple times throughout those years. The first incident, he was attacked outside of his home again. The second incident, he was thrown to the pavement and beaten outside of a town meeting. And the third incident, he was beaten so badly that he was hospitalized for weeks. Tiffany ended up suing Nick Tartaglione. He didn't win, but there was an undisclosed sum settled out of court. But more importantly, he had lost any credibility that he ever possibly had because of these repeat accusations of Nick Tartaglione, and people started actively calling for his public access show to end. So in the early 2000s, that's exactly what happened. The show ended and Clay Tiffany disappeared from public life. And in 2015, he died from heart failure. But in 2016, Nick Tartaglione was arrested for the execution-style murder of 4 men in a drug trafficking job gone wrong. Clay Tiffany was right. Nick Tartaglione was mob connected, he was corrupt, and him and his buddies were running as enforcers for the mob within the NYPD. And what's even crazier is that Nick Tartaglione was at one point Jeffrey Epstein's cellmate and the last person to ever see him alive that we know of. And real quick, if you like my videos and you want to see more in-depth writing from me about pop culture, movies, TV, video games, weird historical facts, so
This freak.
What is the most dangerous information that you know?
Oh boy. They're going to hoax an alien threat, and it's all a lie. So we are actually in the last year at the point where they've started on that plan. We have got to intercept this plan and stop it, or if you think 9/11 and the Iraq War was a clusterfuck, this is going to be that 1,000 times worse, that there's a group of people who control this issue that are trying to provoke an interplanetary incident. So the next war, World War III, will be interplanetary. It's a serious group of nut jobs, and they have to be put on a leash and stood down fast and quickly. This group started releasing stuff to the CNN and Washington Post and New York Times. Every bit of information they're putting out has the spin, it's a threat to the national security, our sovereignty has been invaded. It's the kind of brainwashing that's already started to try to convince the public they're as...
In control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only masks the symptoms so that they become dependent on it every day. Charge them so much money for healthcare so that they stay in a constant loop of consuming, medicating, and working. Cause chaos amongst them and blame it on a group of their own so that they form judgmental stereotypes. Turn them against each other in so many ways so that even if they were to connect on one, they would still...
Conspiracy, we back with part 2. Stay woke, stay smart, don't let it play you.
I woke up part 2 and keep it critical. Stay woke, stay smart, don't let it play you.